Yeah, right on. Yeah, just got engaged, and it's a beautiful thing, man. I'm looking forward to it, man. If I'm speaking in football terms, it's first and forever. You feel me?
First and forever.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So we gonna get that light. I'm getting that spotlight off of me, and we going into the jaded life, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Y'all know what it is, the Jesus all day, every day life, where we're using Jesus and the Word of God as our bar, man, to try and live our lives in a practical manner, the way that God would have us live it, and get all the wisdom that we can right out of the Word. So today we're gonna talk about the truth being in trouble, right? So the topic is the truth is in trouble, right? And we as Christians, especially as Christians, we got to start standing up standing on the truth of the Word, right? Mm-hmm. We got to stand on the truth of the Word, because we're entering into a day where, as the Word tells us, people won't tolerate sound doctrine, or people will want their ears tickled, and if you don't tickle their ears with what they want to hear, then they'll either fall away from you, or they will say you're hateful, or whatever the case may be, right? So we know that we're entering into a era where, there's a lot of different thought processes. We got this new age thinking. We got people saying, we're gods. I am a god. And turn around, they can't even get up on time for work. But they're a god. And we have this woke, quote unquote, and higher consciousness. Things of that nature. And we got all these different warped, ways of thinking coming in, and it's kind of, people are replacing that with God in their lives, so they're kicking God out, and bringing in these other kind of ambiguous trains of thought, right? And so that's why I say the truth is in trouble, because you'll even see professing believers who were one time professing Christians that will turn away from the faith, and they will move toward these other ambiguous theories that really don't offer anything in this life or the next life, right?
Right.
And so if you really look at it, people will try and tell you sometimes that, oh, God ain't real, or it's foolish to believe in that. But then what you'll notice is they won't have any sources of where they're getting their enlightenment from. And two, they won't, they won't let you know what you have to gain from it other than being so-called woke, right? Okay, so we're just gonna get into it, right? People are falling away. Believers are now not defending the truth, and we're kind of becoming friends of the world. If the Word tells us, if you're a friend of the world, you are an enemy of God. So, people are talking like they can counsel God, right? They'll say things like, if God was loving, he would do this, or if God was all powerful, he would do that, or if God was real, he would, stop all the evil in the world right now. And basically that comes from a viewpoint of wanting your perfection here on earth, which was never meant to be the case once the Son came to set us free. Our establishment will be in the eternal kingdom of Christ, right? So when he establishes that, he kind of has this down here booby trap, so that you'll never feel totally satisfied here. You'll never feel, you're going to always feel some semblance of, I want to go home, right? To my let's
a yearning.
A yearning, right? And so let's not be silly and act like our unique selves are here by chance, right? God created this artistry down here, right? He created all of this, and one of the things, how everything's becoming autonomous now, like the cars and things of that nature. I don't know about y'all, but I don't want none of that stuff driving me. Right? I don't want none. It's one thing that God has instilled within all of us that can't be instilled into anything else, and that's the ability to love. Right? You can go artificial intelligence all you want to, but it will never have the ability to love you. And if you can't love me, you ain't driving me. That's kind of a sidebar. You know what I'm saying?
I like that.
So, and then you got, people who want to counsel God, and a God that I'm smarter than is no God at all, right? people think that they can just guide God and counsel him. I'm glad God is way too big for me to totally figure out on my own. Because if I can figure you out, look, I can't even figure John all the way out. but I'm going to call myself figuring God all the way out, then that's not a God that I want watching over me. But thankfully, that's not our God. In Isaiah 40:13-15, it says, who can fathom the spirit of the Lord or instruct the Lord as his counselor? Whom did the Lord consult to enlighten him? And who taught him the right way? Who was it that taught him knowledge or showed him the path of understanding? Surely the nations are like a drop in the bucket. They are regarded as dust on the scales. He weighs the islands as though they were fine dust. So that island that Gilligan was on, man, that was like a grain of sand to God, you know. So he's that big. So believers, you know, I admonish us, all of us, you know, that we must study the word, right? We must study the word. We must know the word, because more and more people want to discount the word. And they're coming after believers in Christ who don't know the word. And believe it or not, there's a lot of believers that don't know the word, you know, or not interested in reading it. So they go to church and they hear the word. After that, they ain't seeing nothing else about the word, right? And so when it's like that, they may not even know how easily it is to sway them. So if they see one of those viral videos on Facebook about, you know, Pan-Africanism or why the Bible is not accurate and things of that nature, and it starts sounding kind of logical to their mind, they will be swayed by that. But if you have that word rooted, if you're rooted in the word, you'll discern right away the holes that are in that, right? And so it's important for us to read our word. The word provides wisdom. Wisdom breeds discernment. Discernment is a radar for us to check out the devil's schemes right on sight, right?
There you go.
So we really need that, so we won't be swayed by, as the word says, every wind of doctrine. Everything that comes along that kind of lines up with our logical thinking, because the word ain't always what we would think in a logical sense.
Correct.
Right? And so it's a little bit from Hebrews I want to read, and it says, so let us stop going over the basic teachings about Christ again and again. Let us go on instead and become mature in our understanding. Surely we don't need to start again with the fundamental importance of repenting from evil deeds and placing our faith in God. You don't need further instruction about baptisms, the laying on of hands, the resurrection of the dead, and eternal judgment. And so, God willing, we will move forward to further understanding. That's what God is calling every believer to become a mature Christian, right? We learned the fundamentals when we first believed, you know, anybody knows that, but he wants us to go on and dig in the word so that when people come at us, you ain't uprooting nothing here, brother. You know, we planted in the garden of faith, so you're not uprooting nothing here, and we can be equipped to tell other people, you know, why their method of thinking may not be correct, because we want people to come with us. That's the whole thing as Christians. We speak out of love. We speak the truth in love, because we don't want such and such a person to go somewhere that we wouldn't want to go. So, right, it ain't about you being right or wrong, but it's about me loving you enough to want you to know the truth so that you can be saved from an eternal separation from the Almighty God.
Also known
as hell, baby. You know, hell, and it don't feel good, man. You know, so that's what we want to get out there. And so the next point, and I only got a couple points we get in there.
All right.
Has the falling away begun? That's a question just to consider. Has the falling away begun? Because if you know by the word, it tells us Christ will not return until there has been a great falling away, right? And so even though some of the things that happen here are disheartening, you know, like the crime and the increased, you know, just evil acts and terrorism, to the people that profess Christ falling away and being, you know, falling away from the faith. Even though it can be disheartening, it also is prophesied in the Bible. Don't sleep on the prophecies of the Bible, because you will see some things unfold right in front of your eyes, you know. And so the question is, has it begun? You know, sometimes, you know, we see the church losing influence, or we see some churches, you know, or some, you know, people who have a limelight on them, they want to fade away from the truths of God, because it will dwindle your following. It will dwindle that love that you receive, because some things in the Bible, the gospel can be offensive. And it's not because you know, God wants to per se offend you, but if offense is what it takes to bring you into the umbrella of faith, then he's with that. You know, he's with whatever will save you. And so we wanna take issues head on that typically we have strayed away from. There's a lot of issues, There's the issues that go by like abortion, and we'll be quiet on that if we feel like it's gonna get us swept under the rug or it's gonna get them offerings taken down, or anything. All these issues because homosexuality, we don't want to touch that because we feel if we do that, we're not allowed to speak on it because we're automatically haters. They want to make, people will make you a hater for speaking the word of God and not and like I said, everything is to be spoken tactfully. Mm-hmm. Everything is to be spoken out of the guise of love. Mm-hmm. But we will be led if we let the world influence us to put ice cubes in the gospel. Mm-hmm. And those ice cubes will water the gospel down, and that's never how it was meant to be. It's meant to be uncut truth. Yeah. And it tells us it's a double-edged sword, so it can cut us, but it cuts us for our good. It performs that surgery. Remember we were talking about that? Yeah. That's that surgery that we need. And so lastly, guys, it's gonna get uncomfortable. I just feel like that's what it is. It's gonna get uncomfortable eventually. However long we gonna be on this earth, we don't know. When Christ is coming back, when he's gonna crack that sky, we don't know. But and it should be a little bit uncomfortable for us because if it's not, then that might mean that we're trying to play it safe a little. And I'm speaking to myself too. So don't get it twisted whatsoever. I'm speaking to myself too because I feel like it must be personal first. God gonna give you a word because it's gonna be personal to you. And you be like, boy, this hit me so much that it gotta hit somebody else too. And so it's gonna get uncomfortable, but I just wonder if you all out there know as believers in the faith, can you tell that it's getting uncomfortable? Can you tell that playtime is nearing the end? Things will get uncomfortable, but I ask as a challenge to each of us, who will God find that is faithful? Who will God find that is faithful? When it's time to come here, who will he find that is faithful? And let's not be ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ, which has the power to save each and every person. Romans 1:16, that is the jaded life. That's the Jesus all day, every day life. That's word.
Awesome. All right, Marv. Man, there was so much in that.
Yeah.
There was so much in that today. John, what did you?
Man, that's just telling the truth and letting Christians be aware that there's consequences. Mm-hmm. And no one wants to talk about those consequences. Black leaders, black pastors, we've talked about it. We don't want to talk about hell. We don't want to talk about sin. We just want to talk about just having a good time, being happy, being joyful, making money. But it's going to come that time. Mm-hmm. We're starting to see. We talked about the crime and the situations, mm-hmm. and you're right, Mark's a great point. When we think our eyes are open, mm-hmm. and we think everything is good, but if you really open your spiritual eyes, you see that it's not, the days are not coming, days are starting to dwindle down. It might be 100, might be 300, but they're dwindling down, Mm-hmm. If you can't see that, then that's a problem, the incident where the 10-year-old girl was, the mother allowed the boyfriend to rape the girl and the cousin, and they strangled her, 10 years old. Mm-hmm. Then they found out that they had been doing it he had been doing it for every day for 30 days. Mm-hmm. She's 10 years old, and they gave her some meth, and they said, "Why did you do it?" She said, gratification. Mm-hmm. The mother.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So it's incidents like that, mm-hmm. that you might not have heard of. I'm not saying it didn't happen 50 or 60 or 70 years ago, but
this was recent.
It's recent. Yeah, this happened.
Yeah, man. No doubt. And the one thing I wanted to say too is that I think that one way we can look at God's word and what he kind of tells us to do and what not to do, mm-hmm. is like, can everybody do it, right? Because if it's okay, right, then everybody should be able to do it, right? Mm-hmm. So you look at it, you're like, okay, if abortion is okay, then everybody should be able to do it. So now let's look at it from the lens of if everybody does do it. Mm-hmm. So if for every mm-hmm. single pregnancy, every single person, everybody does it, what would that lead to?
Well, I got a movie about that.
Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, right? You see what I'm saying? Or if everybody can do it, just look at it like this, okay? If God mandated that homosexuality was natural and okay, then everybody should be able to do it, right? Now, if everybody lived that lifestyle, then what's that going to do to the human population? You know, and like I said, think about this with your mind. Think about this with an open heart. Things of this nature. If the lady who was caught with, you know, that was going to be stoned, right? And he told him, he who has no sin cast the first stone, right? Because now, if it was okay to do it, they were going to do it. Then everybody should be able to do it. And who all has sin? Everybody has sin.
From the oldest to the youngest.
Right, everybody has sin. So if it was okay for them to go ahead and stone her, even through their sin, then where does that leave everybody? Everybody gonna die eventually, because we all gonna be stoning each other to death. But Jesus didn't condemn them. But what did he say to her when it was time to go? Go and sin no more. Right? He even though he didn't condemn her, he said don't sin no more.
He made the correction.
Exactly.
That's the jaded life.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Minister Marv, thank you.
Right
That's
on.
so powerful.
Appreciate it.
And again, we want to thank everybody for joining us. Hit us up on Facebook, SMP3. Give us your comments.
Please do.
Questions about the jaded life.
Please
Coming
do.
up in just a few minutes, we've got TripGear. And always,
Ballistic.
yeah,
Another word.
yeah.
Ron, you like that? Ballistic. I did put that on Facebook.
There you go.
Did I get it from somebody? Don't be looking like that, young Paul.
Hey, brother.
You probably try to take my word now.
Nah, brother, it ain't come to be like that, brother.
And we've always got good gospel music. So
Yes,
stick with
we
us
do.
here at SMP3
Yes, sir.
on the Black on Black Network.
So they scored again. Greg, why you in there then? The game's over, man.
Sorry, your mic wasn't on, that's why I heard.
Oh, okay. I did not know that, because I was hearing it the whole time. You know, I was hearing it.
But you heard it from
Like
far away.
I was hearing it in my headphone. I thought
You were getting it out of one of these other
maybe I
mics.
was, because I was like, yo, I thought I was
And I
good
was
to
just like, I'm
go.
like, he's like far away.
Because then when we did
'Cause I
the
couldn't hear
mic
you.
check and everything, I was like, yeah, I was in there. So, dang, that's crazy.
Yeah, I couldn't hear you.
That's crazy. Okay.
So then I knew. That's why I picked this up. You see me pick this up.
I
And
know
I was
that
getting
you were
ready to
handing
give
it
it to you.
Yeah.
I was getting ready to give it to
Okay.
you just in case. Just in
Hey.
case this had died. I thought maybe that died.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, look at a bump.
Was bumped
He
up.
said, Marv, you say forever now, we'll check back. That's funny. Talking about first and forever.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's good. John, you ready for TripGear, man?
Sure. Are you ready? I'm ready.
So we got. I'm gonna go into another song after this, and then we will.
Damn. Florida tried 75 folks.
Hold on, what?
Florida tried 75 folks as adults, 65 were black. For the crime.
What crime was that?
Different, they can, depending on the crime, they can charge you as an adult. And out of the 75 kids charged as an adult, 65 are black. But Florida's off the hook anyway.
That's wild.
Yeah, ever since they still upset when them black folks killed them folks. That's why they changed the rent-a-car license plates, right? The couple got lost. It was about 20, 25 years ago in Miami. Yeah. They still mad about that situation. They don't forget.
Nah, not at all.
Boy.
Oh, that's McLaughlin, Trey McLaughlin. Yeah. Have you heard his album? I forget what it's called.
I guess I can type that. Yeah,
But it was, I think it may be his only album though. It's Trey McLaughlin and Sounds of Zaymar. It's like a white album cover. Cold album, dog.
But he's good.
Yeah, cold album, man. He got a couple of joints on there.
They got a lot of stuff on Facebook.
Yeah, they
what he
do.
does in his little studio.
Yeah, they do all the recordings. Yeah. But that album, man, that one was cold. If you ever heard the one they got, he's called Thou Son of David. Have you heard him sing that?
I have.
That one was cold, man.
I think he was also with Sounds of Blackness too.
Really?
At one time, I think so. I'm not
Okay.
sure.
Oliver Stone.
no, the other one.
The Giants wasn't talking about nothing.
No,
huh?
man, you can't trust them cats, man.
Is that a heartbreaker?
Look that up in the West.
In the West.
Yeah, okay, me have one first. I'm told what?
History of the United States. Okay.
We haven't mentioned Big Bo's tires at all.
Yeah, man, you know something? I got to pull it up. I'll hit him. See what we got in there.
Yup. I listen to it all the time.
I told you.
What's the other one? What?
But it was a great win nonetheless.
Yeah, that's the other one. Oh, how the West, look this up, man. How the West was won. Something like that. How the West was won. They had it on the floor.
How the West was born? How the West was won?
Yeah.
Can't breathe
By
without
Ken
it.
Burns.
You
Ken
keep
Burns.
walking step for step, so
No,
you
they ain't
can't
got it
fall
on here.
without it.
He's
In
looking
trouble,
on the internet.
take the load. You can't rest without him. His faithfulness precedes our thoughts, so we should never doubt him. The ones that don't know about his
Ken-
grace,
What?
truth
Ken
in the
Burns.
light, don't
Ken
need to see his
Burns.
face.
Not that. Ken Burns, How the West was
Recognizing
won.
his power, understanding his glory, and are willing to cower. He will shower your life with riches that he owns, and set your life on course to his eternal
It's called The
home.
West, Ken
You
Burns.
should run to his arms. In vogue at him. I can patch you into the lifeline. Come and holler at him. Jesus on the main line. You should holler at him. You got some stuff that's on your mind. You should holler at him. Everything will be just fine if you holler at him. Holler at him. Holler at him. Your money's low and bills are high. You should
The
holler
West,
at
Ken
him.
Burns.
If you're barely getting by, you should holler at him. Jesus said he will supply, you should holler at him. Holler at him. Carolina's like my God, power forwards from his hands, bro. I stand firm, tall heels, Tyler hands, bro. Got the coach exchange the Gatorade for living water. In the spirit, feel like Vince Carter. Strength in hard times, joy in tribulation. I praise him even in the storm, call it innovation. Many times I ran astray, he always showed mercy. Undeserving of his grace, far from James Worthy. Trust in him, stop putting trust in me. His power, it never fades, he's clutched like 23. My mind stays at peace because it stayed on him. My help cometh from above, call it Chapel Hill. Dark times and disappointments I can handle, bruh. Weapon constructed will be dismantled, bruh. Devil on my heels, I ain't worried about it. Christ on speed down, go on holler at him. Yeah. It's on your mind, yeah.
Who's that?
Him? That's my boy.
Oh, I thought that was House. Man, House.
And bills are high, you should holler at him. If you're barely getting by, you should holler at him.
Yeah. I hung out with him like
Holler.
all middle school.
Holler at him.
Sixth grade.
Holler at him. Yeah, yeah.
Time for it.
Yeah.
Maryland?
He called that.
Hey, man.
Maryland?
It messed me up when I
We
first
don't
heard
be
it.
on that. Look, it was tucked in there, boy.
Going hot. And welcome back to SMP3 with Marquis.
John G.
MARV. Is I'm live?
Is I'm live? Thank you. And you just
Word.
heard Holla from our very own MARV.
Right on.
And Brother Jay.
Yep.
That's their latest hit. That's right. That's the way we do it here at SMP3.
Yes,
Right,
sir.
right.
Yeah. And you know, I just want to take a minute to holler at our sponsor for tonight's show, Big Mo's Tires. Yeah, Papa Charlie put this together. Big Mo's Tires, they've got 3 locations. Big Mo's Tires at 5461 East 30th Street. It's about a block west of Eastern Star. Telephone number is 377-0443.
We got Direct Tires, the second location. See, Tiny, and he's not tiny, all right?
He is not tiny.
1506 North Post Road. Phone number is 317-655-7700. 2 doors south of Speedway gas station.
Word. The third location, Tire Depot. Call there and ask for Sean. That's
Yeah.
Tire Depot. It is at 3424 East Raymond Street on the south side.
South side.
You know what I'm saying? The number is 317-622-8999. Yo, you gonna tell them about the mobile unit up? What's up?
They also have a mobile unit,
Man.
so they will come to you. You can call any of these numbers, but
Okay.
first try Tiny at 317-655-7700. But they will come to you.
Man,
Yes,
it's
sir.
beautiful. And I'm just excited about they have the 2-month warranty on
Yeah.
all used tires, belts, and workmanship. You know, usually you
Yes,
get a
sir.
used tire, and that's it.
Yeah,
Right,
that's
right.
it.
Get on
You know
up
what I'm
out of here,
saying? And
though.
usually you have the business.
As is.
Right.
As is.
No refunds, baby.
And then they had the special promotion,
Right.
where you can get 5% off of all new tires,
Okay.
10% off of used tires. If you
All right.
mention that you heard about them on SMP3
Yeah.
Okay.
or the Black on Black Network,
Yes, sir.
or if you mention Mark,
John G.
MARV.
And you got to do it just like that.
you got to do it just like that.
Word.
Oh, yeah. So that's Big Mo's Tires, also Direct Tires, and the Tire Depot. All a part of Papa Charlie's his enterprise.
Okay.
It's a black-owned family business,
Okay.
and good people. You know, they take good care of each other as well as the community as well. They are giving back
Man.
to the community regularly. All right, so you want to check them out. We want to thank them for being our sponsors here at SMP3. It is that time, John. It is that time. We've been waiting for.
Yes, we
So
have.
we want to hear all that stuff you've been holding back.
Yes.
All right.
You're gonna get all
So
of
let
it.
me do it. Let me do it for
Yes.
you. You might want to get a pillow, folks. All right, because John's getting ready to unleash it. Welcome to TripGear.
Yes, sir. I appreciate the introduction. And before I forget, let me pass on something that can change people's lives real quick.
All right.
I recommend these documentaries that they changed my life in the way that I view the world, the way that I view America. The first one is we're on 12 parts, and we're on part 8, I think, Young Paul?
Yes,
Part 8,
sir.
okay. It's called The Untold History of the United States by Oliver Stone. And it gives you just an incredible perspective of what really happened in the Cold War, what happened with the different presidents, and why they really killed Kennedy. And the changes, and there was a guy before Kennedy named Wallace, who just in the 40s was talking about integration. He was white, talking about integration and the importance of doing it. This will change your life, and this will give you a different perspective. One of the things that, just be real, I talked to my 2 nephews, 13, one is 14, my grandson, and young Paul, who's 17, and I asked them, did they know anything about Vietnam? And all of them said, no, nothing has been taught about Vietnam
Really?
in the school system.
Wow.
Now, one reason is because we took out about almost 4 million of them. And that makes us look bad. But that's just one of the points of that. But you got to watch it. You will, your life. I got a 17-year-old who's captivated by this documentary.
Wow.
You know, so it's going to change some things. Everything that you learn about history in school is a lie. I'm just going to be honest with you. Once you see this, you're going to say, my God. Okay, and that's what we do through the whole thing. Okay, we can't even eat. We're like, what?
Mm-hmm.
And Paul said, are you serious? I said, I didn't know that either. So it's called, again, Untold History of the United States, Oliver Stone. It gives you the politics, the economics, what really went on with the gold, when we came up the gold standard with President Nixon, why we have this repetitive, we want to be in a war, and in this fight on crime, fight on drugs, where it originated from. And this is a technique that the presidents use. And Oliver Stone is kind of liberal, but he lasted everybody. So he didn't say, come on, pick on this group or that group. Please watch that. Now, another one that changed my life is Black in America and Black in Latin America by Henry Louis Gates.
Okay.
Black in America, you'll find out that the largest migration, one of the largest of human beings in the world, happened when they came up with the cotton gin in the Deep South. And over 2 to 4 million black families were separated and taken to the Deep South. They said you could hear mothers, daughters, sons, fathers crying for miles. No one talks about that. You know, so these families were separated. That's another reason we have some of these conditions in the black community. You'll find out in Mexico was a time, first of all, you'll find out that Mexico got independence by a priest, white priest, and 2 brothers. And they have statues of them, of the brothers, with long curly hair, black guys that you don't hear anything about. And you also find out it's a town in Mexico called Blacktown, where they look like everyone in this room.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is a black historian for 35, 40 years, and he didn't know anything about it. What happened during slavery, 300,000 to 400,000 slaves were taken to Mexico. He actually went to the port where they were dropped off. Okay, so again, and then just a side note, I was in the sauna, and the young lady we're talking about Henry Louis Gates, and she said, I know about Blacktown. She said, I'm from Mexico. She said, I've been there. And they look like everybody, mostly blacks in the sauna at that time, look like you guys. So it's all this hidden history.
Wow.
Another one that's going to mess you up, and I didn't want to watch this. This has been out for about 25 years, and I thought it was going to give him that white privilege and a take on it. But it's called The West, just The West, by Ken Burn. And it gives you what really happened in the cowboy days.
Okay.
What really happened and how Indian people were just, oh my God, you're going to cry. You'll literally cry when you see what they've done to the Indian people and how they took advantage of them and ended all of the documentation that they signed and all the things they didn't do. If you watch these 3, I got good news and bad news. I'll give you the bad news first. You will not look at America the same way. Okay? The good news is God is all about truth. And I said this before, about 20 years ago. America is going down, and what I seen on these documentaries gives me unequivocal reason to believe that, without a doubt. Once you see how they how they just got folks taken out. I'm talking about leaders. I'm talking about presidents taken out. I'm talking about how they did mass suicides, how they just went into Peru. They went into Peru, Latin America, and all these places, and just put governments in there, and then they just totally just took out millions of people. And how they bombed Cambodia.